This broadcast is intended solely for the enjoyment of our audiences. Any rebroadcast, or retransmission is strictly prohibited.
Okay, welcome to the inaugural episode of the usual cast. I'm your usual host, Logan McGuire. Joining me today is a usual guest.
Hello.
Jacob Johnson. We coming at you at the usual place, the usual time. Have at it. What we're going to do here, this is an inaugural podcast. If you're listening, thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
I hope that we can entertain you for however long that we go.
Getting out to those 12 years.
Yeah, it might be. Let's be honest, 18 at the most. We're gonna try to entertain you. We're gonna talk about our weeks. We're gonna talk a little bit about video games, maybe some movies, TV shows, anything like that. Whatever comes to mind. I'm sort of your anime, manga, Japanese video game buff. Jacob over here is dropping everything.
Yeah.
This is our movie buff, more or less. Any movies, old movies you've never even fucking heard about. This guy knows them.
Yeah. It's the best ones.
So I guess to get right into it, we'll start with the weeks. Jacob, do you want to talk about your week, or do you want me to go first?
I don't know, because it kind of feels like when you come back from summer and they're like, what'd you do? And it's like, I didn't do jack shit.
I feel the same, because I haven't done anything so far this summer. Summer's been pretty shitty so far. Yeah, it's been very rainy off and on. It's very obnoxious.
Yeah, I can't ride.
Well, I'll start with my week first then. So for me, most recently, the biggest thing I did recently was I saw the new Alien movie.
Oh, shit.
Covenant.
I kind of want to see it, but I've heard bad things.
It's the first Alien movie I've seen.
Oh.
So
that's not a good place to start.
I'm sure it's not a good place to start. But
I saw Prometheus.
It's the sequel to Prometheus, and it is a prequel to Aliens.
Is it still a prequel to Aliens?
Yes.
Okay.
It is. But I've heard, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It's the first time I've ever seen an Alien movie. If they're a lot better than that one, and that one's terrible, I'm sorry.
I know the first one's probably better. I think I've seen parts of it, and it's just well known as... It's regarded not only as a good sci-fi movie, but it's one of those ones that's appreciated as a truly good movie.
Yeah,
well done in the genre it's in.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing, and I came out of the movie thinking it was very enjoyable, but what I've heard the consensus online is that it's awful. It's just
I heard everybody hated the characters, but see that makes me a little happier because I really like Prometheus and a lot of people hated it.
Yeah,
I see where they don't like it.
What I understand is that Prometheus was it wasn't received well, but I think commercially it still made a lot of money.
Yeah, I think it was one of those ones that you really just didn't know what to expect going into it.
Yeah.
And the people that knew it was going to be an alien thing were expecting too much. I'm pretty sure I watched it for the first time not knowing it was an alien thing, and then it gets to the end, and there's a fucking, the one alien dies and evolves into the xenomorph from Alien, and then you're just like, oh, I didn't have any fucking clue it was actually in the Alien franchise.
Yeah, for me with the Covenant movie, I really enjoyed it, but from what I've heard, it's like people see it as the answers they got they didn't like. They didn't they said the one review I heard was Alien is ruined forever because the answers that you get to all the questions you have are terrible. But I'm not going to do any spoilers.
That comes into an obvious thing, or a very hammered in thing of Star Wars prequels. Do you believe that the Star Wars prequels ruin all of Star Wars, or do you ignore them and regard the other movies for what they are?
No, well, I mean, I watched the Star Wars prequels before I saw the original Star Wars.
I think I did too.
So I think I enjoyed the prequels.
I think I saw Episode 3 first. I legitimately enjoyed Phantom Menace. However, when I hold it next to the original,
yeah,
I see there's such a huge difference there. Mm-hmm. And when you're I would get it if the anthology, Rogue One, was a completely different thing, but something that's supposed to be in the same line, being a different even type of movie, that's a huge part of why that didn't get regarded well. But I love Phantom Menace because regardless of how dumb and shit it is entertaining to watch. I hate the second one. I think it's Attack of the Clones or something.
Yeah, I think so.
I hate it more than any of them because it is just the most fucking... The entire movie is Anakin just being whiny. I think that's the one that I hate Sandline comes from. It might not be the third one, but regardless... It was just a big conglomeration of just a lot of Anakin complaining about
I enjoyed the second movie, but
really?
That's probably... I haven't seen any of them in a long time.
I like the premise.
My my critique of them is from that of a younger than 10-year-old boy.
Yeah.
My memory.
Have you seen the original trilogy?
Yes, I've seen the original trilogy.
I'm very much into Star Wars things right now. Not to try to plug another podcast, but I've listened to one called the Star Wars Minute, and it's fucking great because it was one I told you about. Every single episode is a minute of, they look at a minute of a Star Wars movie, and I've listened to all of the Phantom Menace one, the New Hope one, and almost through Empire now. And for one, it's just a lot of listening because it's like 100 some odd episodes at like normally about 30 minutes once you get towards like Jedi and stuff, but like it's just got me really big into not just looking at those, but looking at other movies in like a really critical way. Like I already looked at things critically from like honestly from YouTube videos I watched. It kind of gave me a new light to look at movies in. But the way they look at it, it's just like once you've seen a movie so many times, you can kind of make up these stories as you go along. This is a pointless ramble, but yeah.
I mean, either way, it's. I hope people enjoy listening to it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it still. That's an interesting thing you've got going there. Jacob just lit up a cigarette and he's got like a weird little piece of twine.
It's a wick.
Okay.
It's so you don't have to breathe in the
okay.
Because I'm not gonna lie to you, it's for smoking weed. Because every single hit you breathe in a shit ton of.
Shh, I'll take that out.
I don't care.
But so besides that was the biggest thing I did this week. Otherwise, it's like. I've played some games. I've been doing Dark Souls 2, Scar of the First Sin again. That's still enjoyable.
Is that a DLC?
It's the remastered version
of
Dark Souls 2. It's still the worst Dark Souls game, honestly, I'd say. It's still the most lackluster one, but Scholar makes it a little bit more enjoyable.
What's it different? Does it just look better?
Changes enemy placements. No, it doesn't look better at all. It looks pretty much exactly the same. I'd say maybe... For consoles, probably the frame rate runs a little better and stuff like that, but for PC, it looks exactly the same, runs about the same, but on PC it runs just fine. But it changes enemy placement, it changes item placement, it switches up a few things, it comes with all the DLCs, which I've never played. That's why I'm playing through it again, so I can do all the DLCs. But I don't know how to access them, so I'm going to have to look that up, because every one that I've gotten to, there's been a door in my way that says...
Oh, are they in-game deals? Like, is it included in it?
Yeah.
That's cool.
But I've just been going through and having a fun time with that.
Do you want to switch sides? Is this going at you?
No, it's fine. I can't breathe it in or anything. I'm immune. But yeah, it's enjoyable. I've been doing that. I've been doing Ghost Recon a little bit. Wildlands. That's okay. It's a little bit scuffed because it's a Ubisoft game on PC.
Like I haven't played a lot of games. I always wanted to play the Ghost Recon games, but my thing is they were like everything about a game that I hate. Like I loved Assassin's Creed, but I hated all the fucking stealth missions. And it's like that's probably
that's 80% of the game.
I'm pretty sure that's Ghost Recon as a game.
Yeah, Ghost Recon. I mean. You have the option to go loud and stuff like that, but it's very difficult.
I'm not good enough.
Because it's like you have to be able to... You have to have like really quick reactions to be able to get the guys before because you can't take bullets. I've already upgraded my like bullet resistance to the highest, and it's like, oh, you take 20% less bullet damage, and already it feels like nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's really... It's a fun game. I enjoy it, but it's a little bit like there's a mission I was trying to do last night, and I failed it like 2 or 3 times. And on the 3rd time, I was like, I'm fucking going to bed. I'm done with this because you have to fly a helicopter to a place. Well, there are SAM launchers that will shoot you down, and I'm like, okay, I'll take this path this time. This path it doesn't work. I finally get where I'm like...
I get too frustrated for that.
I'm like 1 kilometer away from where I need to drop down, and the way you're supposed to avoid them is it's like fly low to the ground so they don't get you. And I see one, I'm like, it is right in the path, it's already detecting me. I drop all the way down, I land, and it fires the missile, and the missile just drives along the ground, it flies along the ground, and it hits me, and I'm like, I am fucking done, I am not running all the way back to that place to steal a helicopter again, I'm tired of this.
I kind of learned my lesson with playing games that I have to... Honestly, it's what video games are, is having to trial and error kind of shit.
Yeah.
When I finally pretty much had to buy my own controller after I broke one, which was, you remember, Grand Theft Auto 5, I came to school with that just piece of a controller, because I threw it so hard it just disassembled. And I haven't really played video games much since Grand Theft Auto. I'm so envious of you for being able to jump around from game to game. I can't even play one game. Fuck, I've started Dead Island. I've started tons of fucking games at this point. I think I've started every PlayStation game I own.
But just not many finished, or not any.
I can't. It's the same thing with reading. I can't. Like, I can sit down as long as I sit down as long as I want for that first time. I can keep playing. I played. Renee let me Bioshock Infinite, and I played that for. I played it that one time, and I played it for fucking hours. I loved it, but I have yet to come back to it. It's like some kind of. I don't have the attention span to like come back to that game. And there's nothing in my head that drives me. I like want to, but I won't at the same time. It doesn't make any sense.
So. Okay, on the subject of Bioshock Infinite then, do you like Infinite more? Have you played any of the other Bioshock games?
I've seen them played, I might have played them a tiny bit. I much more prefer the aesthetic of Bioshock, like the originals. But I don't remember enough of the gameplay to really compare them, but I like the gameplay of Infinite a lot.
Because there was a recording session with Tyler that I did where he said, I love Bioshock Infinite, it's my favorite Bioshock, and he's played like the other ones. And I was like, that is the opposite of like what everyone else in the world believes. Everyone else, like, they all pretty much say Bioshock 1 is the best. For some people, I'd say Infinite probably beats 2.
I preferred it because it handled the powers a lot cooler. It might have just been the aesthetic driving it, because I think the bright lights make it seem more like a campy concept. Like you think more 30s guy going around selling tonics kind of thing, as opposed to a vending machine drug.
Yeah.
That is just like what these rich people who are gambling and just living down there are taking all the time. Like this interesting concept.
Yeah.
I think Infinite, it's not to come back to Star Wars again, but it's like when they introduce midichlorians, it kind of changes the idea of it a lot more. And I guess it was still the same thing in Infinite, but it felt a lot different.
Yeah, I think Rapture is a better location than New Columbia. I think New Columbia is pretty, it's nice. I think it's the most enjoyable Bioshock experience for like a new player for someone coming into the series.
But I like how unenjoyable Bioshock feels.
Yeah,
like it's like the Silent Hill game. Like I like Silent Hill games, but it's hard to get in that mindset to go to that eerie place. But with Bioshock, it was like it's this eerie place that's honestly just really fucking cool. Everything about it was cool to me. As opposed to other things where it's just like, it's dark, it's a familiar thing that I've seen before. It's in the woods, or it's in a dark building. Something I'm used to. You're not used to underwater tunnels.
No. Which, this is another thing that Tyler always talks about. Tyler's always saying, like, why don't we build cities on the ocean and stuff? And I'm like, motherfucker. It's not fair for me to base all my critiques of cities on water from fictional worlds of it's either you build the city under the water and it's fucked up like Rapture, or you build the city above the water and then the city doesn't get maintained and it collapses into the ocean.
Yeah.
And that's from an old PlayStation 2 game called Disaster Report.
I used to think that was what the actual myth of Atlantis was. I think I got it from Phineas and Ferb, to be honest, was that they built it on the ocean. And it's actually, the tale is actually, it was like a Greek something... Like, it was some town, like, on the coast, and it just kind of fell into the sea. Yeah, like, which could have happened, because that's the belief with California.
That's the place in Skyrim that fell into the ocean?
I did not play enough Skyrim. I think I spent 4 hours playing that game. In my first sitting, never came back to it. But, like, 2.5 hours was character making.
Because Winterhold is, like, this city, and it's like the Jarl's Longhouse, a store, and an inn. And then it's the college, and it's... The idea is that the city was all around the college and stuff too, but then everything around the college fucking collapsed into the ocean, and the college is still standing on this giant, like, pillar of stone and everything, and it's the only thing left of the city. And the Jarl's all like, fucking mages ruining everything. I hope you guys are able to enjoy the ambiance. We're recording this outside, because we thought the rain might be a little bit...
that drip might pick up. I hope the drip isn't too bad, though.
We hope it's not. If it is, I'll be listening back to this and fixing it accordingly, but back to any...
We just speak up if anything for now.
Yeah, if anything, we can just we're outside. We can get a little bit louder. But yeah, that's as far as I go for, like, games right now. Like, I could bring up Persona 5, but if I start, then I won't want to stop.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Just get your own Logan Hour Persona
I get the Logan Persona podcast. The only problem is, like, Persona is great and it's fun to talk about, but I have no one to talk about it with. I have no friends that played it.
And again, I would probably be playing that game if I could. If I would buy it if I knew I could keep coming back to it.
Yeah,
but I know me enough.
It's a game that requires you to put in up to 100 hours.
Yeah.
That being said, you could play it on the easiest difficulty, and you could probably get it done in 60 or 70 hours, and that's a major cut down because it's like you don't have to worry about fights or anything like that. Like, it's just that much easier. But if you're listening to this, buy Persona 5, give Atlas all your fucking money, so they'll make more Persona games.
Everybody knows all Japanese video games are bankrupt because America's not giving them enough money.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's exactly what it is. It's actually there's actually a different problem. It's not that they don't have enough money, it's that they don't have enough people. This can tie into a little bit moving on to, like, talking about shows I've been watching. I've been keeping up with a lot of anime this season because I'm an anime guy. And among that is Attack on Titan Season 2.
Yeah.
And I've read very far. I think I've read all the manga that's out so far now. I caught up recently.
It's weird that show is that far, like, I would say behind, but yeah, behind.
Yeah, it's...
I always assumed it was all out or something.
No. It's either getting close to being over in the manga form, or either far from it.
How far is it ahead of the show? Seasons?
Here's the thing. The new season, they only got 12, 13 episodes.
Yeah, what was the first season?
First season was full 24 episode, 24 or 25. That's usually, for animes, it's usually like you get half a season, just like 12 or 13, or a full season, which is like 24 or 25. The original series got 24 or 25 episodes, I can't remember, it's been years. I watched fucking Attack on Titan in...
That was another thing. It's been out a while.
Yes, it's been out for a long time.
Does that happen a lot? Is there a lot of season spacing?
It depends. It depends on the studios. It depends on how well it sells. It depends on... I'm not sure how much the original creator has involved in it. But it would depend probably, I'd say, if they gave like an okay, like, yeah, you can do more or something. I'm not entirely sure. But to get back on track with it, the problem, like, this new season is half a season. It's going to be 12 or 13 episodes. 8 episodes are already out, so it's already almost over.
Yeah.
The problem they ran into that the studio announced was, like, money isn't a problem. We could have paid for an entire season of Attack on Titan. The problem is there's so much anime being made, there aren't enough animators. So they couldn't get enough people to put together a whole season project. And it's like when you're already working people at 110% at, like, unhealthy hours and stuff like that, you can't push them anymore or you're going to start fucking killing people in their offices.
It's Japan.
It is Japan. It's a Japan problem. And maybe in the next few years it'll get fixed, because Naruto is the root of all Japan's problems, and Boku no Hero Academia is starting a new trend that might fix that a little bit. But we'll just have to see, because I can explain that real quick. Naruto was very popular in Japan, of course, and Naruto has a central message of, like, working as a group to overcome something. That's a big part of Naruto. Where this new shonen manga, Boku no Hero Academia, is preaching this ideal of, like, very individualistic characters that they strive for their own goals for themselves and stuff like that. So it might raise a new generation of Japan children to be like, I'm doing this for me because that's what I want, and not for the collective of others.
Yeah, and it's cool that it's that much a part of their culture that it can influence it that way. Mm-hmm. For us, we've got a different issue of, like, obviously they have different genres of things, but... Do you want me to zip that?
Yeah, zip that down. We're getting a little bit windy here, boys and girls. Tornadoes coming through. No. Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, awesome.
What was I saying?
You were talking about how we in America have a different problem. Not necessarily true, like, it's kind of spread out more, but ours is, and I'm sure Japan's a little more spread out than that, but it's a big part of the culture. I think that
only thing we can really compare to that other than drama series, like what we have like Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad shit comes out now, is sitcoms. That's, at least in the past, that's all America's really had. Japan's had anime at some center of a core, some sort of core for a long time, because they accept it as an art form. You know, Akira kind of stuff. They use it as an adult art form as well. The closest thing, it sounds down, the closest thing we have that everybody accepts as part of the culture, and kind of everybody at some point watches, might find something they enjoy is sitcoms, and there's not really anything you can promote with a sitcom.
I've never thought of it like that, but America is really a land of sitcoms, isn't
it? And it comes down to my issue of I fucking hate sitcoms. They're the worst form of television show, especially nowadays. It's like, it's the same thing with like a bad movie, like, I mean, I'll go to, you know, like Furious 7 or Fast 8 or whatever the newer one was. And those are they're almost meant to be a bad movie, so that they don't need to depend on their dialogue, but it's a good example of just like almost every line they use, for one, right, like a situation will happen, you know what they're gonna fucking say. And two, it's just like you could catalog each one and then find that as an example in all these other bad movies. Same with sitcoms, you can find that exact joke in all these fucking things. Scenarios are so reused in sitcoms, and it's what a cliche is. That's it. It comes down to I don't know if it's quantity over quality, or if it's just not so much quality as people just want to have something out that's making money. They don't. I guess that's almost quantity over quality, but they're not even trying to just crank out a shit ton, which they kind of are. But they just care about having something, because we're dumb enough that, like, especially if you only have local channels, that's what you're gonna watch. But what killed me inside was when we got, at my house, we got DirecTV back. Like 9 times out of 10, my stepsisters or Cindy and my stepmom, they're watching fucking sitcoms. They're watching local channels, and it's like, I get there might not seem to be anything on, but there's got to be something better than what's going on the local channels, because it's all the same. You're watching the same thing over and over again. At least with these other channels, you have a chance of seeing something that's not the fucking same.
Yeah, and that's something that you reminded me of. For America, our entertainment business works a little bit differently from everywhere else in the world, where in America, it's like you get something, and the one that comes to mind is The Office. You find out something is successful, and in America, it's like, make as much of it as you can until it stops making.
Do you know how long the British Office ran?
It's only
I thought it was a while. Yeah,
it?
It's one fucking season.
Yeah.
I thought it was also a cult thing that ran for a while.
Where pretty much every other place in the world, they're like, this is how long the thing's going to be. We're going to go. If we make a lot of money off of it and it gets crowd swell, and it seems like they want more, we'll make more. But otherwise, we're only going to put forth this amount of money because we only have this projection of money we're going to make off.
Yeah, and I'll give The Office... The Office always had, for the most part, original situations, but their dialogue did start to get really repetitive.
It's called hentai, and it's art.
And it did still come down to it's a thing in real life that, you know, you kind of repeat, you say the same things to similar circumstances because it's just a thing you say. But that's not what you want in television. You don't want sometimes you do, but when you do, you want it gritty in a way, or something else changed up. You don't want something that is as awkward and terrible as life is. If you have something that's takes
fair.
If the realism factor of a show is the awkwardness, then they make the circumstances unrealistic. If a show is gritty, then you make the circumstances realistic, but you make the reactions more outlandish. Or you make them realistic, but you keep them gritty, you keep them to their most cynical, most pessimistic outcome. And I don't even remember what I was saying. God damn it!
Excellent. Oh my goodness. You were on such a roll.
I was. The issue is I branch off too many times and then I'm like...
Eventually you just, like, the train keeps making turns and then it's like the track runs out and then it's like, well, we can't hit the brakes now. Better just bowl on through.
I don't know what I was saying, but...
It's German class all over again.
Oh, no. You don't want things to be exactly the same as real life. And that's not what they're doing, but what sitcoms can be broken down to is they take that normal formula and they turn it into outlandish situations normally, but they reuse those so they're not original. and outlandish dialogue, so that part's unrealistic. So you have really nothing, especially nowadays, you have nothing to ground yourself to in a sitcom.
Yeah.
Too many sitcoms are the concept. It's like, once you watch the first episode, you watch the entire show, and that's what when you sell a sitcom is, I have this idea, it's a guy living with this fucking dog or some shit like that, and it's like, alright, let's make episodes based off that. It's like, when you see a movie the movie was really shitty, but it had a pun for a name, and you're like, I feel like they came up with this pun and went, we've got to fucking make a movie around this now.
I see, yeah.
But sitcoms have unrealistic situations, unrealistic dialogue, there's nothing to ground it to, but then both the dialogue and the situations are original now. So at this point, I don't want to say it, but I feel like sitcoms should just end. But I think there is potential, because, like, some people don't like it, but I fucking love it. With Seinfeld, it kept realistic reactions, for one. I think it's a big thing that differs it from other shows, other sitcoms, is the situations were outlandish, but the reactions were realistic. And even their outlandish situations, for one, almost everyone was original, their outlandish situations were never super outlandish. So you can. What I love about Seinfeld is you can ground yourself very easily to that, and it also. And what I love about it is I notice that it's distracting me from how much I hate sitcoms, because it's such a good sitcom. It's good at being what they should be. And sadly, coming back to the original thing, America is a media center of just sitcoms for the most part, and talk shows. Talk shows are a big thing in a lot of places, but I don't know. I think that's just the thing that I don't like talk shows. Everybody feels fake, but that's a thing in every country. I get the point of them. I get why they're at the center of everything. Like, people feel informed, but I don't see much of a... I don't like them.
Yeah, I understand. I guess to move back on topic for other things I've been watching. So Attack on Titan Season 2, that's fun. It's enjoyable. If you like the first Attack on Titan, it's probably my favorite mecha show. That's enjoyable. I've also been watching Recreators. I have to catch up on it. I think I'm 1 or 2 episodes behind. That's by the people who worked on Black Lagoon. And it's the concept of our real world. So it's like, imagine you're living in the real... It's our world, right? Say, Jacob, you are a famous novelist, and you wrote a novel about a fantasy land, yada, yada, yada. Guess what? People loved it. It sold. It's New York Times bestseller. People all over the country reading it. Everyone's enjoying it. Because of that mass, because of it's everyone's reading it and perceiving it and enjoying it, you've just created an actual alternate reality that's real. But now the worlds are crossing, and so your main character from that comes over into this world, and they retain any powers or crazy things that you've got. So
does it look like him?
Yes,
that's
the
cool.
exact person.
That's a cool concept of just some writers perceive a different person as their main character, and then some writers consistently
it's not just written
them.
for him. It's even television shows or cartoons and things like that. So the opening one is a kid goes home and he's watching an anime, and he drops his tablet, and it the world breaks around him, and then he's in the anime, and then because he's actually there, he's in danger of getting hit, and the main character grabs him and throws him out of the way, and because she's still holding on to him, they go back. And now she's in the real world, and she's got all of her powers and stuff like that. So it's creations going and meeting the people that created them. So she's from the anime of her of the source material, but then she goes and meets the guy who wrote the light novel that the anime's based on, or whatever. And it's here's a creation talking to its creator, and that's it's very fun. It's very imaginative. It's all right. I'm not going to judge it yet until I've seen all of it. But keeping up with that one. I've been watching Arrow Manga Sensei because I like to watch shitty shows, and I'm a terrible person. It's made by the people that made Oreimo, and I hate Oreimo, but I watched both seasons of it because it has amazing character development, but it leads up to, it's just a prank, bro. And then everyone throws the book into a fucking barrel fire. That's not a joke. There are videos of that online of people taking the last chapter of this book and throwing it into fucking barrel fires and shit because they hated it so much.
Sherlock Holmes shit, man. You know the Sherlock Holmes story.
Yeah. You've told me about that before.
I could see that shit happening nowadays too. Like a writer's pressured into unwriting something.
Mm-hmm.
I could easily, especially nowadays with how media is.
That's part of the idea of it, is because you have these writers who are writing like characters into horrible worlds, and they're like killing people in their writing, and then their creation comes over, and it's like, you have to stop.
Yeah.
Like, my world is terrible because of the things you're doing. Change it. They're like, change it now. But
someone from a sitcom comes over and they're just like, please stop writing the same shit over and over again.
But a sitcom,
I want to die.
Sitcoms normally have real live action actors. So
How weird would
version
that
of
be,
that
though?
actor from the sitcom comes out, and it's like, I'm the sitcom version of.
I'm you, but I can only wear this fucking plaid shirt.
Yeah, what if it's I'm you, but I can only act as this character.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't be my own person. I have to be the shitty person that writer over there wrote. Oh, that's amazing. That's a great idea for a show. We should kickstart that.
That'd be amazing.
I'm keeping up with that, and then the last one I think I've been keeping up with is called, like, Love Tyrant. It's about this guy who gets approached by an angel, and the angel's like, look, I was trying to write someone else's name in my Cupid journal or whatever, but I accidentally wrote your name, so I need you to tell me the girl that you love, and then you need to go kiss her. And then you guys will be bound forever. But if you don't do that in the next 24 hours, I'll die and you'll be a virgin forever.
I don't like name things. Like, something that's like specific, you write that name. Because my issue is like, there's multiple people with the same exact name.
Mm-hmm.
Even middle name.
Yeah, well, it's brought to it in a way, it's literally, the Cupid comes to him and she has a black notebook that says Kiss Note on it. And that's the joke. This is a series that doesn't take itself seriously at all.
I was gonna say it feels like Death Note.
But he does that. He does go and confess to the girl and kisses her, but finds out that she's a horrible yandere. She's insane and is going to be like hurt and kill him if he tries to talk to other girls and stuff like that. And it becomes this ridiculous like harem fuck fest of just like, because the Cupid that writes his name in there adds her name too. So then they're like a triangle, and then she adds like another girl. And so then there's like it's a fucking. What's the word? What's the one I love to use? Platonic incest love quadrilateral. That's what it turns into. It's fun. It's a goofy show that doesn't take itself seriously, and they go off model for a lot of drawings and stuff, so that's fun.
Okay, real quick, because was that the last one?
That's the last anime I've watched.
Alright, real quick, I'm gonna show you this thing.
For our sponsors?
Yep, our spawners. Fantasy Sex Shop in Vinton or something. Okay. At first you just see the picture, but you gotta really look closely. It shows the product too, and it just disturbs me of... I don't know what it's really supposed to be.
Heart in girl.
But look at the thing.
Yeah, it's a fleshlight with little hearts around the like.
Is that supposed to be her butthole or something?
No, it's a fleshlight, so it's supposed to be.
But like, why has it got little prongs around it? There's no realism there.
Prongs around it? I don't know. I've never seen one, Jacob. That was something I thought about starting the podcast with. Well, no, let's zoom out. It's like, what percentage of the podcast is virgin? 50%.
Yeah. And we just keep this percentage will change each time.
Every time, yeah. And one day, if we keep doing this, it'll change. It'll be like, whoa! It'll be Spongy Army, right? But that's right. You heard your first 50% of the podcast is virgin. We'll never tell which.
Guess which one?
Yeah, guess which one.
No, I've been sitting on that for like half a year now. But no, it's just I was like,
Did you think about buying it for me or something?
I did, but it's expensive as shit.
Oh yeah, it was like $20-something.
Yeah, I was like, for the sake of a joke, I can't do that. But it's just so weird. I don't know.
I tried to have a really fun joke with my buddies at Buffalo Wild Wings because we were going to see the Alien movie after. I was like,
who'd you go with?
I went with a bunch of my Franklin County friends.
So
I'm not going to give names, but I went with them and we were there and we had a pretty cute waitress. And I turned to my buddy who's next to me. I'm like, hey, I got a deal. I got a deal for you. And he's like, shoot. I'm like, okay. I will give you all the money in my wallet. If the next time the waitress comes by and asks if we need anything, if you ask her to sit on your face. I was like, I'll give you all the money in my wallet. And he's like, how much money do you have? I'm like, I might have $60. I might have $8. Nobody did it. I had $6 in my wallet. I was really hoping they would take it. but they didn't.
That's so sad. Oh.
It's very. I really wanted to make a funny story, but I got that head story for you guys. That's the best I can do.
This is how far our lives go. Oh, so should I tell about my week?
Do you want to go ahead of your week?
Let's see. I guess a week from today would be, today's Wednesday, I don't know what. I'm not gonna lie, just since we graduated, I don't know what the fuck happened on each day of the week. I don't know what day of the week it is half the time. I don't know, like mostly I just go to work and then go to Renee's. We went... I've watched a lot of movies lately, but that's pretty much it.
You have one you want to talk about or try to sell?
I could just list off the movies, and then if there's one I really cared about, I don't think there was. I can't think of any in the past, like, other than the ones we got from the library the other day. I watch a lot of shit now because of Netflix, and like she's got Netflix, Amazon, and Hulu, so like
that's impressive. She's got the Holy Trinity.
Yeah, it's a shit ton of
movies. But the only thing she's missing to make it like a Triforce with upside down triangle in the middle is Verve.
What's Verve?
Verve is like it's what's the word I'm looking for? It is a conglomerate. That's not the right word. It's a joint like project or a joint streaming website between like Funimation, Crunchyroll.
Okay, so it's a big anime
like
one.
Rooster Teeth. No, like tons of other things.
Okay.
And it's like you pay for a month, and it's a little bit more than like Crunchyroll or just one of these sites by themselves. So
yeah.
It's a little bit like $2 or $3 more, but you get access to like a large portion of all their libraries.
See, a lot of those I'm a little worried about, but there's a few that I've been looking into. They're ones for movies. And it sucks because some of the stuff on Amazon you have to get subscribed to those services to watch them. But like, there's one called like I think it's Shush or something, and it's all Shudder.
Yeah.
And it's like it's pretty much like every horror movie in the past 40, 50 years or some shit. Or it might be less than that, but it's a lot to watch. And there's sci-fi ones and stuff like that. I've looked into those. I think more than anything, I'm just too scared to put money into a subscription thing at the risk of like 1 month I don't have the money and then I fuck myself.
Or like 20 years down the line, you forget about it and you realize you've been paying $8 for something you stopped using 10 years ago, and you're like, oh shit!
I'm more willing.
My money.
Well, I'm more willing to do it now though, because before now I didn't have Wi-Fi, but now we've got Wi-Fi at my house and we've got Wi-Fi at Renee's house. God damn, I'm gonna sneeze again.
Sneeze, do it. All definite.
It's gone now.
I hate when that happens.
Right?
That did not start happening to me until like a year or two ago. I go to sneeze and there's like nothing. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's still there. It's just
like dying. Is something wrong with me?
Mine's because I got real bad allergy shit going on. But okay, the movies I watched. One was one that I've been trying to get Renee to watch. I have a lot of movies that were shown to me either by my stepdad or my mom, and it was this one called Benny and June. It came out around the same time as What's Even Gilbert Grape. It's got a young Johnny Depp in it, and this chick who was in...
People still tell me I look like Johnny Depp.
I can see it, like when he has his facial hair.
It ain't doing many gifts with the ladies. Gifts.
Go
ahead.
And it's got a chick that I think is in like Fragrant Tomatoes or something, but pretty much like she's kind of fucked up in the head, and her brother is taking care of her, and he's like 30 or something, she's like 20 something, and then Johnny Depp shows up and like I think she loses a hand in a poker game with like her brother's friends, and he has to her brother has to take care of the guy's cousin or something, and that's Johnny Depp, and it turns out like they're really good together, and it honestly, watching it again now, I don't like it as much as I used to. It's very it very much feels like her mental disease is quirkiness for the most part. Like at one point she stops traffic, she's got a helmet on and a red ping pong paddle, and she just stops traffic. But she has like legitimate freakouts too. Like they go to run away at one part and she's on a bus and she just starts like flipping out and they have to stop the bus, and she's just like, everybody gets off, she's just pacing back and forth and shit. But it feels so much like that. But what I always love is Johnny Depp's character really loves silent movie actors. So multiple times in the movie he does like different silent movie actors like shtick performances and stuff. He does them really well.
That's interesting.
Then we watched a movie that I got just because it had a shit ton of people in it. It's got... Did you see the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie?
Nope.
Fuck. Did you see Seven Psychopaths?
Yes.
Okay, the guy who ended up being the actual killer,
Yes.
Sam Elliott,
Okay.
or not Sam Elliott, yeah, Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott? Sam Rockwell. Sam Elliott's the guy with this tiny hand from Scary Movie 2. I get him mixed up because it's similar names.
He's got tiny hands.
He's got tiny hands. It's got him in it.
He's got each a tiny big man.
It's got... Do you know the Fox show Last Man on Earth?
I'm aware of it. I've never seen it.
Do you know the main guy that's in it?
Yes.
He's in it. And some other people are in it. I just can't remember now. But it was a cool concept for a movie. I liked it overall. It's like this guy is a biblical archaeologist, like finds stuff and then like matches it to like stuff in the Bible and stuff, and then like
he finds stuff and then he destroys it if it goes against the Bible. That way you can.
Actually, it's much dumber than that. Like when it shows one of his discoveries, it's like I found these shears in the middle of the desert in like Jerusalem or something. They could have been the shears that cut Samson's hair because it was like the same place as Samson was.
I see.
And then he was like. He took him to this like guy who looks at says shit about it, and he was like, this is what he had to say, and the guy was pretty much like, you have made an extraordinary discovery. Pretty much never says anything about biblical stuff, but in the movie he gets paid to find some shit for this church. Like they start funding his shit, and he finds one thing that doesn't come back looking like what it should, and then he finds another. He can't find one thing, and they don't give him enough time. He's trying to find Goliath's skull, and it's really fucked up actually. So he was gonna try to find it. Like he's a good-hearted person in the movie, but like they didn't give him enough time. They're like, yeah, we need this in like 2 days, and he's like, fuck. So he looks up like giants, like Israelites with giant stuff, like gigantism. And he finds this wrestler from like the 30s, and he robs his fucking grave. He takes his skull and then reburies it, and they find it. And it's like the guy who helped him dig it back up. One of the guys that was actually digging it up. He was like, the ground was awfully soft. It's pretty much he knows. And it's all about how they cover it up, and then they keep getting stuff and faking it. Like they fake the Holy Grail and shit. It was a good movie. I would say watch it. It's not really. I don't think it was really rewatchable. It was like, did you see Sahara?
No.
It's like this Matthew McConaughey movie where he is a treasure hunter, and it's like, it's good, but there's really no reason to watch it again.
Just lukewarm on it overall at the end.
Then I watched a movie that came out like a year or two ago, and I heard about it, and I really didn't give a shit about it. I didn't think it would be that great. It was definitely better than I thought it was going to be. I don't know how good it really was. You might have heard, it's called Cooties. It's got Elijah Wood, Frodo from Lord of the Rings. Did you ever see the Scott Pilgrim movie?
Yeah. Michael
Kim.
Cera? Oh.
Kim, the drummer.
Okay, alright.
She's in it. Dwight from The Office, the really nerdy guy.
Yeah.
The fat guy from Lost. He's honestly my honestly my favorite part of the movie. It's a movie about pretty much like a zombie outbreak happens, but it's like a disease that can only affect children, and like it breaks out at Elijah Wood's like school where he's summer school teaching and stuff. My favorite part of the movie, and it's really dumb, but it was really funny, is like the fat guy from Lost is the cross guard, and so he goes back in his van, and like as soon as he gets in there, he like eats some shrooms. And then, like, he starts seeing this one kid, like, this kid runs to start scratching people, he doesn't know if he's tripping, and he, like, calls on the walkie-talkie to the principal, and he's like, I'm on some medication for some stuff, so I don't know if that's what I'm seeing, but I think I'm seeing one of the kids eat Mr. Wilson or some shit like that. And like pretty much the entire movie, he's in his van just watching these kids murder people while he's tripping out on shrooms. And at one point, the cops show up, and he's like, still got some shrooms, and he's like, I ain't fucking going down, and he just eats all of them. And it ends up, he kind of like saves the day. He drives them out of there and stuff. And I don't remember how the movie ended. I think it ends with the zombie outbreak still going and stuff. But it was definitely better than I thought it'd be. I thought it'd be really stupid. It's really funny because the opening is almost exactly the same. Like it feels a lot like 28 Days Later. Have you seen that?
No.
The zombie outbreak in that starts with a monkey.
Okay.
And it's really stupid. Honestly, like you always forget about it because the movie's pretty good. he was infected with a virus called Rage. It's really fucking dumb. And it pretty much opens with, like, this scientist fucking with a monkey, and, like, the monkey's just real fucking angry, and then it gets out and kills him, and then, like, outbreak starts, because, yeah.
This is a rage monkey got out.
Yeah, and so, like, it's really stupid. You're like, in the 28 Days Later universe, all the zombies are infected with rage. And that's really fucking stupid for how good that movie is.
I see.
The only other movie I watched, we tried to watch it last night, was a movie I watched a while back that once we started it, I realized it was really fucking boring.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to show it to her because it was the first movie I ever saw that had Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, outside of Harry Potter. It's called December Boys. And it's like about 5 orphan boys. It's really fucking boring. Like, I wasn't ready for how just fucking boring it was.
Painfully boring.
It really was. It was like, because all I remember was something about like fish died.
I could have gone to the local Walmart and had more enjoyment watching the people there than I did watching this movie.
Probably, honestly, it was really boring. Although I have one more movie to talk about. I didn't watch it too recently, and it's a movie that's dumb to talk about because it's like, if you know about movies, you know it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just one of those things like, I have a dilemma in life that I understand the fact that I at some point will die having not seen every movie ever made.
Of course.
And I fucking love movies, so it kind of hurts me. And there are movies that I see come on, and I know I see commercials for movies, and I will forget about them for years.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that there are some that I will probably never hear about again and not notice.
The one that I wanted to see that comes to mind for me, for that regret, is that Belco, whatever.
Yeah.
Company. That
You know what my example every time is?
What is
fucking Arthur and the Invisibles. I remember when it came out and I was so excited, and then like it was out for a little while, I didn't get to see it, and then I never remembered that it existed.
It's enjoyable. I mean,
I read the book. There was like 2 books.
yeah, everyone will say the book is better. I've never read the book.
It was okay.
I owned it at one point. I bet I would have enjoyed the book more.
My experience with the book was I read like half of it and I kept losing it everywhere. My dad used to coach wrestling, and we went to some place, like we went to one school for a wrestling tournament, and they had these bleachers that you couldn't get under, but for some reason, like, it was the board you sat on, and then there was nothing right here, so you could just drop shit under and never get it again. I dropped the book, and I had to find and we were leaving, and I had to find a fucking janitor to like open the door that goes under there for me to go get it. It was fucking stupid, and that's what I mostly remember about that book. But that was the movie that like I didn't get to see, but like. Obviously, so what I decided was, I know it's just
Snoop Dogg in it. That was a major selling point.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like
Epic. That movie, Epic, is like this generation's Arthur and the Invisibles.
it is, but I never saw it. And I bet it doesn't hold up to Arthur and the Invisibles.
It's got more cast members, so I feel like it might have been better.
The way I have a weird critique system for certain movies that I've never seen, where it's like if your movie is being sold in Food Lion or a grocery store. It means like one of maybe 3 things. Your movie was like never in theaters, straight to DVD
Or
or
it was
something.
huge.
It was huge.
Oh, no, Food Lion. I was thinking
If
Kroger.
it's in Food Lion, it's either the movie was huge, so they expect people to buy it.
Which I haven't even seen
The
any huge
movie
movies in there.
Was terrible, so
Or it's a pack of movies for some reason.
yeah. Or it's maybe it's a timeless classic and it's just being sold or something like that.
But that's what this. Well,
But
this
that
was,
movie Epic is in Food Lion. You can get a copy of it. I can tell you that.
That's what this was coming up down to, though. Is so unless there's a movie that's there for me to watch, if I'm trying to pick a movie, it's really based on like what do I know is known as a classic, and it's worked out really well. Like I watched the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the first time like 2 weeks ago, and I hate horror movies because like especially all the ones that come out now are based on jump scares. And
yeah, there were jump scares.
I jump how I jump, so it's never like oh you got me. It's like fucking stop.
There have been.
It's too easy because it's me. Like I jump at everything, so that was really fucking good.
Yeah, I've got a little bit something to say about that, but I'll let you go ahead and finish, and we'll get into it.
But that was a genuinely good movie. Like not even just a good horror movie, but at the same time, it was my favorite horror movie I've ever seen. But the one I was getting to, and obviously it's a classic. Everybody's at least heard of it. A lot of people don't even know what it's about. And it's one of those ones that's hard to watch because it's mostly black and white, or it is all black and white. I don't really remember. I think it was all black and white. It's Citizen Kane. I finally watched Citizen Kane, and honestly, I wasn't really bored during that movie. And that's a movie. That's something I've run into even with interesting black and white movies. That I still find myself bored because my eyes aren't interested. Mm-hmm. Especially just Orson Welles in that movie is so fucking just like charismatic, and he's so fucking douchey. Like, it's all about him like openly manipulating the press and stuff. Like, there's a there's a line where he's like, I haven't heard anything about any like one of these guys is working at this paper for him. He's like, I didn't hear anything about, like, it doesn't really seem like there's any tension over there that there's going to be a war. It's like, there's a part in the movie where he says World War II wasn't going to happen. Mm-hmm. I think this was actually prior to World War II ever happening. Mm-hmm. Because it was an old movie. And he was like, you provide the people, I'll provide the war. Because he was just going to write bullshit. But at the same time, you fucking love him. And you see him as such a genius in the whole movie. Mm-hmm. And one of the things was, like, I think I told you, like, I've gotten more into looking at things as the shots that they, the camera shots they use and stuff, how that adds to the movie. Mm-hmm. And it was really useful in this movie because one of the coolest fucking things I've ever seen. This movie came out in like 30s. Mm-hmm. There's a factory here, and then like, this is great for an audio podcast setup, but there's like a factory, mm-hmm. and then there's like an archway for where you first drive in. Yeah. And like, the camera starts outside of that, kind of a wide shot. Uh-huh. And there's like a neon sign on that thing. And in like fucking 1938, Orson Welles pans the camera through, like, in between two letters mm-hmm. in a fucking neon sign, over the factory, down, and looks through the window that was there. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously, there was an edit there where they edited it in, but it's almost a seamless fucking edit. But cranes were shitty back then. Like, camera cranes were shitty for panning back then. Oh, yeah. And he panned it through a fucking neon sign with a space, like, probably that big. And, like, I have no idea how he did it. Like, my only thought was ever, like, one crane to one side and then they handed it off to another person. But they would have had to hide that crane at the same time. So it's just so fucking well done. And it's the fucking 30s or 40s or some shit. Mm-hmm. And it's just, everything about that movie was incredible. And I've rewatched it already and shit, and it holds up. You heard it here first, folks. Go watch Citizen Kane. Heard it here first, folks. It's gonna win an Oscar.
Oh, it's gonna be in the telly. It's gonna be on there.
And that man's slightly my idol at this point, though. On the funny box. Orson Welles, just because, like, one thing you always take for granted is, like, when you read aloud in English class, mm-hmm. no matter how seamlessly you do it, you can still tell you're reading. Yeah. Orson Welles was the kind of person that you could hand him something, and the first time he read it out loud, you could barely, half the time you couldn't tell he was reading it. Like, he could read that seamlessly. Mm-hmm. And, like, speak it, and it's so fucking incredible. And that's something that you take advantage because you're like, I'm pretty good at reading it out loud, but you're not fucking Orson Welles, man. You're not even fucking touching Orson Welles.
I don't think, I'm not gonna say it. I'd have to take it out. So it doesn't even matter.
What? No, you gotta say it.
We can't. I mean, Orson Welles might be good, but I don't think any of us could stack up to Chris. You just made the lights on the microphone fucking flash. It was like that was too loud.
No, now you have to fucking leave that in.
I'll leave it in, but I'm not saying the last name. That's how we get
it. Yeah, it's fine. He's not going to listen to this anyway.
Okay, but to get on to... I had a little bit more to say, because I do have a movie I want to talk about. Right. But first, I want to talk about a TV show that I have watched. It finished recently. I finished watching Samurai Jack.
I tried to restart it, because I don't remember any of the other seasons, so I can watch that last season.
So have you been able to keep up with have you watched any of the last
I'm like 4 episodes into the first season.
Okay, alright. I'm not going to say anything of spoilers.
Was it good?
I think it's very enjoyable, but it just finished, and the consensus, I've heard a little bit online where people are like, oh, the ending is underwhelming, or we didn't like it.
That's everything, though.
Yeah, it's...
Like, I don't know if you ever
watched... I could tell you the ending, and you wouldn't understand. That's the thing. I could say something that completely describes the ending, and it wouldn't spoil it for you.
I think people don't understand that most of the time, the best ending is an underwhelming ending. Mm-hmm. Because it makes you simmer on all the shit that just happened. I don't know if you ever finished Breaking Bad.
No.
Do you care if I spoil the last episode?
I don't care. Go ahead.
It ends with, like... The show is, like, he gets put in, like, almost like a witness protection thing. They hide him and stuff. And they're like, you just can't leave. It's like, you can live the rest of your life if you just stay in this cabin. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't. He fucking comes back home. and like the cops find him and shit, and like he makes like one last batch of meth or something in this one place, and it just ends with him dying on the floor, like he got shot or something. Anyway, it's really underwhelming, but at the same time, for one, you remember everything that happened, and I think it's better for the best regarded episode is like the third from last episode, and I think that's way fucking better, because I don't want a show to tie up. I honestly don't want a show to tie up where it was at its best, because that's what it'll feel like. Mm-hmm. And I'll always be just thinking about the last episode. And then, when you just think about the last episode, you start to notice flaws. The best movies are kind of underwhelming at the ending, because one, endings are hard, but two, just ending is what movies do, even the best movies, because it's just, when you've given your all, people think the ending should be like it should also be part of the best thing about the movie. But it's like, no, you should have the best part of the movie and have an ending.
Put it in do you think people think the ending should be the climax? Is that the way people would think?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think part of it is people just don't know what they want. Like, when people say that an ending didn't tie up a movie well enough, mm-hmm. but at the same time, it's like, how would you tie the movie up? Because there's a lot of movies that there is no tying up. You either leave it at a cliffhanger, you leave it at those people will continue their journey without you, mm-hmm. or you end without knowing what's going to happen. And I think just everyone will find an issue to have with each of those. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, I understand. I mean, for me, watching through it and seeing it finally, like, finished, I enjoyed it. I mean, at that point, like, when you start that season, you get halfway through it, and you realize this is going to end one of two ways. And I'm not going to say one of the two ways. I'm not going to explain those, because that directly gives you, like, oh, it's one of these, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to end one of two ways. Like, what did you expect out of it? Like, people get very upset. And I am gonna say what the ending is, but I'm gonna say it by using the exact ending it copied, and you don't know this ending. Samurai Jack ends the same way Gurren Lagann ends. I've never seen Gurren Lagann.
I have not.
As long as you don't look up the ending to that.
Watch that and see if it can sing it either. No.
Not really. We'll cut that out. No, we'll leave it in. But it ends the same way a different show ends, and for me, I'm like, that's fine. I mean, it's enjoyable. People are upset about it, and it's like, shut the fuck up.
I did think about it. I do get being more upset with a TV ending than a movie ending. There's a lot more time invested.
I'd say.
So you feel when you get gypped or you don't get gypped, you don't get what you expected. Mm-hmm. You're gonna feel all the more fucked over. But I think it's just something you should accept. For one, if you can't tell me what a better ending would have been.
Yeah, that's fair.
But at the same time, you don't want to do that, because you don't go into a movie wanting what you want. It's like going into a movie not knowing anything about what the movie's about.
Yeah.
You want the director's supposed to be good at what he's doing. These people who made this movie are supposed to be good at what they're doing. So they should be able to just give you a ride. Mm-hmm. So I get going on a certain ride, ending not how you want it to, and it's like, I don't know what the best ending is, but you should. And it's just like, and sometimes it is a bad ending, sometimes there isn't a place for an ending. And it's just kind of an acceptance thing. And honestly, I'm thinking of movies now, but like, I can't think of a movie that, I definitely can't think of my favorite movie ending. Because it's just where the movie ended. I enjoyed the movie, I enjoyed everything about that movie, and that's all I care about. I don't care how it ended.
Yeah, that's fair, and especially for this thing with Samurai Jack, it's like...
Oh, except for sequel baiting. I hate an ending that is obviously setting up for something, especially when that movie did not get a sequel, and I'm just looking back going, that was fucking stupid.
Don't play Bulletstorm then.
Is it a game?
Yeah.
Did they sequel bait a game?
Yeah. They sequel baited it super hard.
And didn't get it?
It was made by the people that made like Gears of War. And then they sequel baited it. This is Bulletstorm, guys. Sequel baiting. Fucking the credits end, and you get a black screen, but you get like a voiceover of two characters. You hear, this is the fucking great, it's gonna sound really cringy. You hear the main villain, Serrano, come back, and he's like, what the fuck did y'all do to me? I look like a damn... And he says some stupid Frankenstein shit. And they're like, sir, it's the best we could do. Your insides were jelly. There was nothing more. There wasn't a lot to work with. And he's like, God damn. It's like, I'm going to have someone's head over this. And then you hear some footsteps. And then he's like, he's talking to another person. He's like, Ishii, boy, how are you doing? How you feeling? We're going to have to get you back up and running soon. But then, like, we're going to go after your friends or something. And it's like, then he says something like, God must really love you to keep you around, boy, all the hurt and pain he put, like, you, some stupid bullshit, and then you hear a robotic mechanical voice, which is Ishii, because he's like half cyborg after he gets all fucked up. Fucking game ends with this sequel bait if we're gonna make a poster video of him saying, God is dead. And then it's fucking over. They sequel bait it so hard. It's ridiculous. And then they did the sequel.
See, now I was thinking of something here. And I was like, how should you handle that then? Because I was thinking, if you end it...
Release an apology because I want a short story.
Like, I want a movie to end the right way. And if you know for a fact your movie's going to get your sequel, I get doing that. And most things that are considered a good ending wrap up the story. So if you want a sequel, you can't wrap up the story. Mm-hmm. And when they do wrap up the story, once they start that sequel, they run into the issue of whether they did or not. People say that they did it unnecessarily. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they did. So I was thinking, like, maybe they should... What art form does it right? And I went to books. But then I thought about it in book sequel bait. But the thing about a book is... I can't think of any that goes against this. Every person who wrote a book that was in a series knew they were getting a series. Mm-hmm. They knew how many books it was going to be because it's their choice. Mm-hmm. And that might be part of it. But the question is, like, why are we so accepting of book sequel baiting? Because that's what it is. When the first Harry Potter book ends with, I don't know, fucking shit happens. Actually, I don't know. Harry Potter might have wrapped itself up. Maybe some books do it right. Maybe there's a way to wrap up a story while leaving an arc. Like, I don't know.
Wrapping it up, but still leaving it open.
But even when it does just sit open, yeah, like when you read that book on its own, it's still good.
It still
and
stands
you don't
on
feel
its own.
you don't feel like you need something else.
What you're talking about
and sequel
is
baiting immediately makes you need something more because they tell you to.
That's a series. Can you take each book and then finish it and close it and say that's where the series ends?
That's just saying that's the same thing with movies. Movies in a franchise, if you can say a franchise is good, but at the same time, Star Wars, which one's individually just a good movie. Mm-hmm. But why are we more forgiving? And at the same time, everybody's more forgiving than I am about these things with movies. But like, why are we more forgiving with books than we are with movies about hard sequel baiting like that? Mm-hmm. And I think it's just because, for me, the way I'm thinking about it is it comes down to one person's choice versus an entire studio's choice. Mm-hmm. Books are normally one person and their publisher's choice.
Yeah, one person, their editor and stuff like that.
And like the editor might read it and say, like, you might want to turn this into a series or something, but okay, it never seems after the fact. And I've seen a lot of sequel baiting that feels like they wrote the entire movie. That's what it is. It feels detached. Because you watch the entire movie, and then you feel like it wraps up or it gets to the end, and then it feels like they filmed the entire movie, and then went, ooh, let's put something at the end that makes something, like after credit scenes. Let's just film something extra that leads into that. And Marvel's kind of taking it the right way, though. They at least keep that out of the movie. Except for fucking Winter Soldier kind of ended dumb. Where it was like, Avengers, assemble! And it's like fucking Falcon and all that shit. Or was that Civil War? That wasn't Civil War. It was Winter Soldier, right? It ends with like 3 more people getting added to the Avengers, and it's very hard sequel bait. But I don't think it was after credits. It could have been, though.
I'm not sure. I don't remember Winter Soldier that much. I still like all the Captain America movies. Yeah. I still enjoy those.
I'll never get annoyed about sequels or anything. Because I would never truly get annoyed about anything about movies, because I don't just love certain movies. I love all movies. I love shitty movies. I love movies that are supposed to be shitty. I love movies that are shitty because of budget. I love movies that And at this point, I love movies because it's almost its own genre. Movies that are shitty because of the production studio. Because that's a huge thing now. There's so much hands and stuff, and we know so much about it that you can point out, like, yeah, this was because, like, they fucking told that writer that he couldn't do everything that he just wrote and shit like that. And it's a cool time capsule kind of thing to look back at. And it's also just a cool thing to see how everything has come together to affect this movie to be what it is. Almost like I don't know a lot of the backstory for Fast and the Furious, but something has happened along the lines from studios and such that it went from a plausible movie to Fast 8, or... Is it Fast 8?
Furious 8?
Well, it was Furious 7.
Furious 7. Maybe it's just the Fast and Furious
It was
8.
Fast 5, Fast and Furious, because the first one was the Fast and the Furious, and then 6 was Fast and Furious. 7 was Furious 7. I swear to fuck, wait, I think I still got Wi-Fi, I'm not looking up. I run into this issue all the time, because I have no idea.
Yeah, well, while Jacob's looking that up, I'll talk just a little bit more about Samurai Jack and my backstory in it. I'll come clean. I did not watch all of the series up to season 5. I just started watching season 5, and I feel like a lot of people...
Do you know anything about this stuff before?
Here's my biggest... You can blaspheme me, nail me to a cross, fucking burn me, whatever you're gonna say. When I was a child, I did not enjoy Samurai Jack. I would look for anything else to watch. If it was on TV, I wouldn't pay attention.
I didn't enjoy it correctly.
I didn't search it out. And it was because Samurai Jack was a different TV show that didn't do... It just didn't do for me what I was looking for at the time when I was a young child. This is early 2000s. For me in that time, I think this is the consensus for most people during that time, especially children, even adults that have children, their children are watching cartoons. Cartoon is supposed to be funny. Stuff like that. So I would be like on the SpongeBob bandwagon and stuff like that.
It was more for Samurai Jack. I was entertained. As I said, I know I didn't appreciate the show correctly. I didn't really know much of the story.
No,
I still don't. But I know the whole general concept. I remember watching a lot of that show, but I don't really remember things that happened in the show. But I still know I really liked it. All right, real quick, I want to kill myself because I forgot. The Fate of the Furious. When they just all of a sudden decided to do... I don't know if it was supposed to be a pun, but goddammit, it could have been The Fate of the Furious.
Is that real?
Put an 8. When it was called Fate, I forgot about it. I knew that.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That's not even keeping with their shitty theme of time.
Welcome back from our short commercial break that we just had there. We're last talking about...
should we be timing ourselves?
What about ourselves?
Should we be timing ourselves?
Well, I can look over at the thing right here. We've been going for about an hour and 10 minutes.
Okay.
Live, I'm telling you guys how long the podcast is going. Amazing commentary. Genuinely speaking, we're just finished up talking about Samurai Jack a little bit, and I have one last thing I want to say. It's like, people that are going to complain about this, it's like, why are you complaining in the first place? Like, they continue to show that had been gone for like 9...
That show was it didn't get wrapped up with the last episode, but it was wrapped up.
But it was like, it was gone for like 9-8 years.
And
they brought it back, and they're like, you're getting a new season of this stuff that everyone will like, and it's amazing. It looks great, it's fun, it has like...
I will say, ending with a movie would have been cool.
It brings... That would have been...
Because they started with a movie.
That would have been really great.
But I think they started with a movie, right?
I'm not sure.
I know there is a movie, but I don't know if it started there.
They bring new stuff to the table with it. They can do, like, blood and stuff or whatever, because it's an Adult Swim.
Yeah. I didn't think about that.
They have a lot of, like, it's imaginative. It feels like an anime, like watching an American anime. It's just so different than anything else. And it was really different at its time when it was running as a cartoon on Cartoon Network. And people, you're now going to complain about it after they gave you this. And it's like, it's the first thing to do this in a while.
I think what it comes down to is people will complain about anything. It's an example I talk about a lot, because I love the show as much as it is Futurama. Mm-hmm. Everybody complained, especially with the last... I never understand why everybody complained with the last episode. They didn't complain about it. And that's a good example of an episode that wrapped up a show well, I think. But that was a show that it ran on 2 different stations at first. I think it went between Fox and I think it ran new on Adult Swim at one point. It might not have, but pretty much it got canceled after 5 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Then Comedy Central gave them 4 movies. So they made those 4 movies, and then they got like fucking at least 3 more seasons, maybe 4 or 5. I don't know. It was a good amount. But then everybody complained. They're like, the show. They were pretty much said the show. They kept saying the show got canceled again, and it was like, no, this time the show didn't get canceled. They made an episode to wrap it up. They were just done. Like, and to be fair, it's coming from the creator of. It's coming from Matt Groening, the guy who made The Simpsons and won't stop making The Simpsons. But do you want another Simpsons?
Simpson.
I mean,
Who's your favorite Simpson?
favorite Simpson?
Yeah.
When I was little, it was Bart. At this point, I don't really give a shit.
I don't know The Simpsons well enough to say who my favorite Simpson is.
I don't like it that much anymore. I used to watch it all the time because I had CW at local channels. Instead of watching sitcoms, I'd watch that.
So I do have a movie that I want to talk about. It's an anime movie, but I'm going to sell it to you. I think you would really enjoy it, honestly. It's beautifully animated. It was done by Kyoto Animation. And for a little bit of backstory, Kyoto Animation is known for an anime studio that both kills and saves anime. And they kill it one year, like, it's like, anime is fucking dead, Kill Annie, why'd you do this? And then they're like, no, but look what we made this, though. And it's like, anime is saved, hallelujah.
Oh, real quick, I watched Boy and the Beast.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't watch all of it. It was really boring. That's all.
Really?
That's all I remember. I think part of it I was just distracted when I was watching it, but
Maybe.
I remember it not
nothing,
being super
I've heard
interesting.
nothing but good things about it, but I haven't seen it yet, so...
If it's still on my computer, I'll try it again, but I think I deleted it.
But this is an anime film by Kyoto Animation. It's based on a manga that ran for 7 volumes. I actually watched the movie and then immediately ordered all 7 volumes today.
What's it called?
It is called A Silent Voice, or in Japan, Koe no Katachi. And it follows 2 main characters. It follows 2 high school students, male and a female, and
Are you having issues with Kiss Anime?
yes, right now.
Neither of them work for me right now.
Yeah, we're having some trouble. It's like we don't pirate guys, no.
Pretty much, it won't give me a link anymore. Or when it does, it tries to take me to some like download service, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
You just have to watch it. They should be able to fix it next year. But this movie, it's about.
Well, this was weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Could just be my computer for some reason.
It might be. I'm not sure. Who knows? I'd have to look at it myself to see what it's doing to be able to tell you anything. But it's about this young boy who it's like 6th or like. Because Japan school does things differently. Elementary school is still like 6th grade, I'm pretty sure. In like 6th grade, or like late elementary school, a girl joins the class and she's deaf. And there's this boy in the class and he basically bullies her because of it. He bullies a deaf girl. And he's not the only one doing it. The whole rest of the class sort of does different things. Like girls talk about her because deaf people can't hear.
That's true.
They talk about her behind her back stuff and do different things, and they make fun of her because there are some weird moments in the movie where it's like, is this shitty adults being shitty adults, or is this still because they're like in choir class and they're making her sing in choir class,
that's fucked up.
and they're having her read out loud in class, and maybe it's a thing where it's like they still want her to be part of the class, and
that might promote functionality.
that might, but it still feels like having the deaf girl stand up and read to the class. There's a shitty teacher that's like, a girl's reading and he's like, wait, no, that was shit. And then he's like, hey, deaf girl, stand up and read. And she doesn't speak very well. She says her words and he's like, wonderful. And then she sits down and the girl that just got called shitty was like, are you fucking serious? And then the kid stands up, the boy that's bullying her, he stands up and goes like, and he just makes fucking noises, and everyone's like giggling and laughing, and the teacher's just standing there listening to him, and he's like, shut up, do it right. It's like, she can't hear. But it's very beautifully animated, it's a very enjoyable story. I didn't cry or anything, I didn't tear up at it. I mean, it has its moments where it's like, woof. Like, woof.
Woof.
Yeah, woof.
Bark.
Borf.
Rough. Pretty rough.
But very enjoyable, very fun. I would recommend everyone watch it. because what ends up happening is that eventually she transfers schools, and that's when the school finally says, like, okay, enough. And because he was the main one doing it, like the one easiest to pin it on, all of his friends pin it on him and say that they tried to stop him and stuff like that, and then they all ostracize him. And the movie does this in a very stylistic way where anyone who won't talk to him or like that is ostracized him has a big X over their face, so you can't see their eyes or any of their face really. And he is just—it's like everyone is in his classroom all have big X's on their faces, and he never looks at anyone's face. He's always got his head down. But it jumps forward a bit, like several years. He's doesn't specify what year in high school, but he runs into this deaf girl again, and it's like, maybe this is my chance to atone for what I did. To get rid of this like horrible guilt and regret and be a better person. Because he has changed. He's tried to be better. But it's a very uplifting story. It has some very touching moments. It also has some very goofy sounding Japanese whenever the deaf girl speaks. And they also fuck with the subtitles during that as well. There's a part where she says, "I'm doing my best," but it's spelled IBMAH, or it's IBDOIGG. I'm doing my best with a ZD at the end.
They tried.
She tried. She tries real hard. But it's a good movie. It's really enjoyable. And that's one of like 2 anime movies that I think I need to see. There's the other one that people were talking about a while, just called Your Name. And that's another like...
I feel like I might have.
That's another like boy meets girl thing, but I think it has a much sadder ending, where it's like... I think they walk away from each other after it's like, oh, we love each other, but then nope. And the guy doesn't go after her or something. I don't know. Fucking spoilers, I don't care. I haven't seen the movie, I don't know if I'll watch it or not, but I just knew that a silent voice movie I'd been waiting for a while, and it came out, and I'm like, sick, dude, and I watched it. It's really good.
Was Alien Covenant the last movie you watched?
Yeah.
So I'll probably ask that every time we do this. Because that's a fun question, because for one, it's hard to remember than you think sometimes. Mm-hmm. Especially with how many I watched. The last one I tried to watch was The Thunder Boys, but the last one I watched in full was Cruise.
I would say for the Alien movie, graphically, it was visually, it was very impressive. The aliens look really good and everything.
I've had a very cynical like CGI look lately. Like I notice issues a lot more because I've noticed like stuff that comes out now. There's a lot of stuff that in like 5 years from now it's not going to hold up at all.
Oh yeah,
I can't think of any examples, but I've seen like a lot lately that I'm like, it's going to look really shitty.
I think movies hold up better than video games, but for like video games, like in 2 or 3 years, your video game that you love and prize is going to be a broken piece of shit.
You're a little more forgiving of that though. You're like that's and it's the same thing. It's that's where the software is, but with movies, it's like video games aren't trying to trick you with something. Video games, you're like, you can't trick me with that now.
Video games,
movies are
your enemies are T-posing all around you and killing you.
But with movies, it's just like, you can't trick you like that.
You can't give me, not this time, Warner Brothers.
Not
again.
Fuck, I watched something recently. And like, just a lot of times now, it's not as noticeable as green screen times, but it's like, I can tell when they're in front of a screen. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of times now, but it's just like, sometimes it's too noticeable, it bugs me.
Well, I don't know. It was my first Alien movie experience. I enjoyed it. I'm to the point where it's like, watching that, I'll watch the other movies now.
I'll probably enjoy that movie.
Because before I thought I was too much of a pussy to watch the other movies, but then it's like, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
Like, the worst thing that happens is one of the aliens comes out of dude's back, and when it happens, his whole spine comes out, like, with it, and his spine comes out, and it droops down, and then he just goes limp on the table he's on. And it's like, ooh.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know the alien, everybody knows the one alien scene of, like, the thing coming out of the guy's chest and stuff. But I know the first alien's treated much more as, like, a...
he puts on a top hat and a cane and starts singing, "Hello, my honey, hello, my baby."
I had to show Renee that, because she's seen Spaceballs, but I was like, have you seen the actual scene? She was like, no. I was like, it'll make it a lot better, because it's the same guy. It is the same guy that has that happen to him in Aliens as the guy in Spaceballs. It's the same actor.
Okay.
It's John Hurt, the guy who plays the professor guy in Hellboy and Ollivander the Wand guy in Harry Potter and all these things. He was a good friend of Mel Brooks. He's in a lot of Mel Brooks movies. He actually played Jesus in History of the World Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in some other ones that I can't remember now, but yeah, so he played the same character, and that's why he says "not again." He's not just a guy who looks like that other character. He is that other character, and he's like, "Fuck again." You just gotta go through this because he obviously didn't die an alien.
On the subject of like scary stuff, like there is another game I've been playing, and this is for the channel. I was doing this with Carl and Tyler. I've been doing Outlast 2. And that game.
Did you just play with Carl when he was back?
Yes, we started like last weekend, and we're able to continue yesterday.
Does he still work at Food Line technically?
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, he does. He only works there during the summers when he's back, of course, or whenever he's back. But yes, I'm playing Outlast 2, and boy, they stepped it up from Outlast 1. Like Carl and I are jumping like all the time, and I don't know if Tyler's just hardwired to not get jump scared, but he just doesn't move. Like it happens, and Carl and I, who aren't in front of the screen, like we're either off to the side or a little bit behind, it gets us, and we're like I'm yelling, and Carl's like, whoa, and Tyler's nothing, no movement. He is, I don't think he's human, honestly. It's like one scare has actually gotten him.
For me, that
and
whole
it
game
wasn't
would just
even
be
like
annoying.
a scripted thing. It was he turned around and a person was right there at him, and it got him, and that's it. It's I don't get that. That boy ain't right.
That boy ain't right. He ain't got enough adrenaline.
Yeah, I don't know. It's honestly impressive. It seems like an act of fucking God or something.
I'm impressed with that.
That he's not like nothing. It's insane. Or listeners, look forward to that. I'll be working on that today and tomorrow or something, and probably get some of them episodes out in the next week.
Possibly the same page as this, I guess.
I think I'll release this before. So, hey, you enjoying it? Having a good time? That's pretty much it.
That's all I got.
That's all you got? I think that's all I got for our weeks and stuff like that. Maybe we'll move on to something else. Don't know what. Don't think we got anything. So we might end this one here.
Our sponsor is Bojangles.
We managed to go, with two of us, we managed to go for almost an hour and 30 minutes.
And I imagine it'll honestly go a little less with more people. Except, I mean, like, there'll be more thoughts there. Like, more people will have stuff to say, but more things will get cut off.
Okay.
Like, that's just the thing I've seen in the Rooster Teeth one. So you'll get cut off, and you just
you'll just move forward.
You abandon what you do.
I think before we go though, I'm gonna pitch a few segments to Jacob here and see what he thinks. I'm thinking maybe with next episodes I write like some kind of video game topic or like movies or just a general topic to talk about, and then throw back and forth our ideas on it. And maybe we can do one right now. I actually have one in my head and I want to ask you about it. Let's talk about self-sacrifice. Either character self-sacrifice in movies or video games. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Notable examples of it? Stuff like that.
I need a second because it's very broad, and it's that thing that comes down to there's never really anything that I really hate in movies. It's just kind of themes that I see are repeated. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think there are points where I definitely don't like it in movies where you know that character can't die. Mm-hmm. Like Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. Like, you didn't necessarily know Baby Groot was going to happen, but, like, you kind of did. Like, I kind of knew, like, they weren't just going to kill him off. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Well, right now I can't think of any examples.
Well, I've actually got a few things I can talk about with it. Because this is something that I've been on the fence about for a long time. And it's because I used to be definitely on one side, and now I'm on the fence more towards the other side of it. And I'll talk about it a little bit in that, for me, I used to love the idea of self-sacrifice. What does that say about me as a person? Probably not a good thing at that time in my life.
For me, if it's done originally, if it's the same thing everybody does,
or it's like character stays behind, does something that allows everyone else to escape, stuff like that.
I can't think of exact examples, but there just needs to be some.
Because here's what I look at. Where I originally was all about self-sacrifice. I love the concept of like your life. You can look past your own life to preserving others or for whatever greater good, or for even if it's like an evil cause, if you can die for a cause rather than. But I watched an anime a long time ago, and it sort of put me on the fence for self-sacrifice and towards the other of not liking it, because a character brings up the point that there's nothing heroic about self-sacrifice because you're only thinking about yourself when you do it.
Yeah,
you're thinking about fulfilling your own martyrdom and leaving a great
in a real life instance, those other people are just going to think about that they should have done it instead.
Either that, but also if there are people in your life who are still alive and care about you, you are gone from their lives and you are hurting them.
It's the same as just killing yourself for other reasons.
Yeah,
and there's obviously more to that argument, but
it's like the people that you leave behind are going to be just as hurt because you're gone. And that's sort of what put me, I was like, wow, I've never thought about it that way for stuff, and that's why I'm sort of on the fence. I think it can be used correctly. I think there are very specific times when it should be used and times it shouldn't be. I think self-sacrifice is appropriate when you have a character who has been irredeemably horrible the whole time, right? And you use it as a plot device to build that character up in their final moment and to give them some act of redemption. Whether it be a villain character who realizes the error of their ways and changes and decides to like self-sacrifice, or whether it be someone who's just done horrible things the whole time and they're like, look, I can't put up with this anymore. It's basically the same thing I just fucking said. I'm thinking the one example I always thought I love this in Game of Thrones. The character Ramsay Bolton is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
From minute one, he exists because Theon is a piece of shit up until the point where Ramsay comes in. Ramsay exists to make you feel bad for Theon, who's been a piece of shit, because Ramsay takes it to the roof.
Yeah.
And he holds it there. Ramsay doesn't die in self-sacrifice, but in the back of my head, I always thought, if this character is going to be redeemed for anything, he's going to have to die doing something to help someone else. But he doesn't. Which I don't think his death has been written in the books, but it's happened in the show where he's mauled by his own dogs.
My thing about it is, like, I have an issue with the concept being used in things, because to me it comes into the same that I run into of whether something is a cliche or just something that is used in writing. But to me that feels more like a cliche. But on the moralities thing, I think I get the idea of you're doing it because you're just thinking of yourself. But at the same time, I think part of that comes down to, one, it's in the moment, and two, it's a thing of there's very little acceptance in death. Like, either you have a specific way you want to die in how quick it is or something like that, or you just don't think about it. So, like, in that moment, it's more about, at least to me, in a real-life circumstance, it's more about, is that the way you're okay with dying? And especially if it's going to stop everyone else from dying. But, like, if death feels inevitable, or somebody's death feels inevitable, and you feel like that circumstance is something you're okay with going out on, always being your last thought, no matter whether that you think it'll affect in the afterlife or what, I think I'm okay with it in that sense, because it's just, if it's what you can accept, then that's what that is. I don't know. Like, that makes sense?
Yeah. At the end of the day, the only standards you hold yourself to are your own. You can't hold anyone to your own morals or things like that.
In general, it's a scary thing, and I think if you make that, if you think about that decision and slightly rationalize it and get it in your head, you're not going to let that get out. You're going to try your best not to let that get out of your head, because it's a very foreign feeling, an acceptance with death. So you feel that, and you're like, okay, this is that moment then. I will make this that moment, especially if it helps these other people. Not that I would ever do it, but I might. That's the other thing, is like, it's a hard thing to judge. It's a hard thing to judge with anything death-related movies, because you don't think about it because they're so desensitized, is like, you never know what you would do in that. And you look at movies and you think of what you do in that circumstance, but you don't really know what you would do in that circumstance under the pressure, under the adrenaline, under the real-life circumstances. you can try to think of real life circumstances, like if you were faced with death and stuff, but especially because you watch so many movies or play so many video games, death isn't a true concept almost.
Mm-hmm.
So when you find that acceptance, you will stick with it. You will try your best to stick with it.
I can say that one game that does it really well is Persona 3. Persona 3 and Red Dead Redemption are the ones that I think. And Red Dead Redemption is less self-sacrifice. I mean, it is, in John Marston's case, it's self-sacrifice to protect his family at the last moment. But it's also, for John Marston, it's a form of... It's a form of, like, rebellion in a degree against, like, the government. Because it's like, I did everything you asked, and yet you're still going to come here and kill me. I'm going to take as many of you down as I can. And let's be honest, any of us that played that game got 4, 5 people maybe out of the fucking 20 that are standing there. You don't go out in a fucking blaze of glory in Red Dead Redemption. You choke on your own blood. And
It's not Halo Reach or whatever.
It's not Halo Reach where it's like, oh yeah, I took down 3 squadrons of fucking Covenant before they got me. I got 4 dudes. It's like they were probably not married. Their families are either almost dead or they are dead.
Yeah.
It's like, damn.
Yeah.
Persona 3 does it in a really good way where in the final chapter of the game, when you go to fight the final boss, you beat it alongside your friends, but it changes into a form where like this giant eye comes down from the sky, and you alone go to face it because nobody else can stand. It has such an overwhelming. It has this horrible, overwhelming aura that pushes like extreme gravity that pushes everything to the ground. But you can stand against it because it was sealed inside of you for like 10 years, I think, or something like that. It's still you alone can stand against it, and you end up in Persona games, at least all the ones that matter. 3, 4, and 5 people. Persona 1 and 2 don't give a shit about all the fucking Persona 1 and 2 players on the fucking 8-bit PlayStation 1s are killing themselves right now, hating me.
Might as well be playing Fallout 1.
Yeah, but you alone go to face it. In all the Persona games, the final attack is always like a scripted attack with some ridiculous name. In Persona 3, it's called Great Seal. In Persona 4, it's called Myriad Truths. And in Persona 5, it's called Sinful Shell. And you have a giant Persona behind you, and you raise your gun up, and it pulls its giant fucking gun out and fires a bullet through the head of a god to kill it. Because it's so I don't know. Persona has this thing where they, like, in the last chapter, they're like, okay, we're down here, now we're up here, and that's how far we're going to go. But in Persona 3, you reseal it inside of yourself to end, like, the destruction of the world.
Yeah.
And then, like, 3 weeks later, you die. You die with death sealed inside of you so it can never come back.
Yeah.
And that's the only sacrifice that... I really enjoy that one. Just because it's like, death was already sealed inside you for so long, it probably started affecting you already.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not just doing this, like, for yourself. You're doing this for everyone in the world, and also more for your friends that have helped you the whole time.
If the last thing you say is, this is my time to shine, it's a shitty one.
No, the Persona 3 protagonist is low-key like this emo kid that's always got his hands in his pockets and he's got horrible posture. But no, it's nothing like that. But it is a very, like, it's a very sobering moment to die in the lap of, like, the girl that you went out with in that game. No, you die in the lap of some fucking robot android. It's like, I won't forget what you did, because everyone else did. You defeat death, and for, like, 3 weeks, everyone's like, yo, what have we been doing for this whole year? And then,
Is that how all the games are? Like, it ends with nobody remembering?
no, just Persona 3
okay.
does that.
I feel like I heard something else recently that ended that way. I don't remember.
But no, they all remember at the last second, but they don't make it to you before you die on the roof of the school. The only person that's with you is the unfeeling android, Igus, and she's like, I'll never forget what you did, and then you fucking die. It's like Kitan in Gurren Lagann, which you don't get that either, but there's a character in Gurren Lagann who, like, the whole time, he's like the secondary wingman that starts using a mech alongside the main characters. And in the final act of the show, like right near the end, he awakens to spiral energy, which is like the power that all humans have inside them. Which is like your power exponentially grows the more you can charge up or whatever. And he ends up being able to do the massive like Giga Drill break attack and he does it right into the enemy like ship or like right into the core, and he goes, "So this is spiral energy, huh?" He goes like, "Huh," and then fucking explodes and dies, and that's it.
I think moments, and like obviously it's the writing that points out the situations that I like, that it's, acceptance of death. Is the this is it, like, not this is my moment, like, whether that's conveyed through the movie itself or through conveyed through actual lines, but like, I like that in movies when it's like that's a realistic acceptance kind of thing of like, when you're gonna die, you might freak out, but sometimes like certain people they'll just be like, well, that's it.
Yeah, my time is come.
And especially if they're already like, if they're sucked into sacrificing themselves, that's a good one, because they're just like they're not even like, they went into it unwillingly, but they're going out of it willingly. And I like that. I think it's a good concept.
Yeah, well, that's another thing that I've thought about, where it's like, okay, guys, I'm going to get a bit cynical here just for a moment. I'm going to hit two things. For one, because I'm a person, I don't believe there are any actions a human being can take that aren't selfish. I believe all
absolutely.
actions are selfish. I think charity, you're doing, it's like there's no selfless acts.
For me, it's what fuels that selfishness. If the fear of death fuels your selfishness, or the acceptance of your death fuels your selfishness, then that's okay. Because that's, I mean, obviously it all comes, each thing that you're selfish about is a human thing, that it's a primal thing that you can't get over because it's, you protecting yourself.
Yeah,
but there are certain ones that feel more justified.
Like there are no inbred fears in humans. All fears are learned. All greeds are probably learned. There's no like, some people are all like, yo, give me that water, give me some water. Or, like the people in the desert, the Sandman.
The concept's there, but you'll be greedy of anything.
Yeah.
I think the idea of like fully communal, like, because I like simple life shit, but like, not that I would want to just end up being part of it, but like an African tribe kind of thing. Everybody does everything for everybody.
Where you start selling other black people to white people because you don't want them
more of the people who are even more cut off than that. It's just everybody, like, some people go out for food, some people do other stuff, but when it comes down to eating, pretty much everybody gets the same amount. And it's just an interesting thing too. That's one of the few places that you really don't see any much greed. And there's probably a greed among there too. Like, there's probably, like, among children, there's anger for not getting a certain amount as they get older.
You've got more dung beetles than I do. That's really racy, Logan. But the other thing I was going to say is, like, I don't believe in selfless actions, I believe. That's Immanuel Kant as well.
The only selfless life is in a simple life like that. When if you're doing everything for yourself, like, if you grow your own crops and cook your own food and do that kind of shit and keep yourself cut off from people, then you're not wanting more than what you have, because what you have is what you can do. When there's other things available, that will always set you up for more greed.
Yeah, but there's that, and then the other thing I wanted to say is that any of you people that are watching Netflix and you're crying when the character's dying, it's like, you are fake, you are basic. Death in media is not sad. It is supposed to be sad. Death in media is meant to change the way the narrative works.
Yes.
It's meant to rework the story in a way, because removing a character means any arc that character is going through is cut short. You can no longer use that character to push the plot forward or to build up other characters. And so you have to change everything.
The only time I will be brought to crying because of a death is more about, it's never the death itself. It's when the music or something about other things that are happening, it's when the tone is so promoted in it that the emotion is there. The death itself will not evoke that emotion. It is the rest of the movie around it.
I cried in The Green Mile when, what's the black guy's name?
Mr. Coffee. Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah. I cried in The Green Mile when the black guy died, but this is going to sound even more racist. It's not, I didn't cry because he was dead, I cried because it is a powerful scene.
Yeah.
The music, the tone, the camera shots, everything works together, the lines and everything, it is such a well put together scene that you can't help but feel. You feel the impact.
The thing about movies and certain these art forms is one single aspect will never evoke that type of emotion unless you're forcing it, because that's not what it is.
And by forcing it, a man comes into your house with a gun to you and says,
"You can fucking cry.
Now you better cry. The black man is going to get electrocuted. You better cry about that, little boy."
And it's because a movie is not just the situation that happens. Specifically, movies they are the camera shots they use. They are the lighting. They are the sound. They are the music score. They are the score that is absent. It's stuff like that pulls it. But without that depth, that would also not be there.
Mm-hmm.
Movies are everything that is there. They are not just these one aspects.
Yeah.
Like, I finally got to watch The Godfather like a year or two ago, and I've never watched a movie that I legitimately sat there and then noticed that my mouth was open, and it could have been open for the past fucking half hour, because there's a scene where you got like The Godfather, and he's got like 2 or 3 kids, one of which went into the military, has nothing to do with the mob stuff pretty much, but they have to kill a guy, and they can't use one of the brothers because like they know, he might kill him or something like that. So pretty much, like, you have this scene where he goes into the bathroom where the pistol is hidden in this, like, restaurant, and it's just, like, the tension that is there, it's not just because of the scene, it's because of the music, or the lack of, I think there's a decent lack of music at one point that just really draws out the tension, because the music was there before and stuff, and it's like, everything about that couldn't have happened with a single one of those things missing. The lighting was different, it would have been completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If the characters hadn't been developed the way they had been, it wouldn't. And just stuff like that, and yeah, and especially that's a big issue with like what I call at this point I'm kind of thinking of sitcom movies. Is I go back to Fate of the Furious kind of stuff because I can't think of any examples right now, and it's bad to go to that because it's almost intentionally bad. But movies think that character building is not a necessary aspect of things, especially horror movies. The thing people forget about a lot of old horror movies is the people were likable, but they weren't just likable. They weren't just cracking jokes and stuff. They felt like actual people. Mm-hmm. So you could draw that connection. So when they died, it mattered. But, like, these people, like... Especially, it's like, the extreme end is when you see a soldier or, like, a stormtrooper or something die in a movie. Mm-hmm. That's the extreme end because you literally had nothing before that. Mm-hmm. Characters that you don't have the connection with, but were characters in movies, you saw them, but you cared a little bit more when they died, because you were like, oh no, that character's gone now. Yeah. Because you had that connection, but you won't have the emotional connection because you won't have the emotional reaction because the emotional connection was never made.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sitcom movies is a good term. I fucking hate sitcoms. Like back to the beginning. Fucking hate sitcoms. They are the worst.
What about Modern Family?
That's not a sitcom, but I'm still a little on the fence. Like, I like it. I think there are more original situations. The people were, and that's a show that uses, I'd say realistic reactions, maybe slightly outlandish things that happen. Not super outlandish either, though.
Okay.
I think that's the thing, is people think there needs to be an extreme in either one, when obviously with like Modern Family, there really is no extreme on either side of that. There's no extreme circumstances or extreme reactions, although the reactions can be overdone, and that's when I don't like the show. I don't like the gay characters because, not because they're gay, but it's because they feel like they're fake gay. They feel like people acting, although one of them actually is, and one of them's not acting, but... Because one of the guys actually does talk that way, but like it's the reaction and stuff. That's not how he's reacting as a gay persona. He's not reacting as a person or even a gay person.
Persona.
It's and I just think television at this point has to have some sort of realism. Movies can get away with it because you have genres and fantasy and stuff. But if you're gonna put in that time, or even the time for one episode when it comes to sitcoms and stuff, you just need something there. Like, fucking, I hate Two Broke Girls because it's the same, like, pussy jokes all the time. Like, no joke. When,
Hey, how about my pussy lips? Is that what it's like?
That really is.
Pussy?
Alright, primetime television sitcom has jokes about women coming.
That's terrible.
Right? And now, like, I don't have huge issues with it because I know that humor. I'm a teenager. I'm fucking fine with that. My thing is... we're a culture that reacts the way we do. And my best example for this, and the reason it's part of the reason I hate Two-Part Girls as much as I do, was Stepmom Before Cindy would not let us watch Family Guy because it was like crude and stuff. But we could watch Two Broke Girls, which is 100% a worse show when it comes to the subject matter of their jokes. Like, pretty much every joke is a sex joke. Family Guy, there's at least a mix of stuff, and only 50% of it is even crude stuff. The other half is just maybe not jokes you really think are that funny. But Two Broke Girls, on the other hand, is just unfunny, repetitive, crass jokes that are being crass to be edgy. They're not funny with edge to them. They're funny because they're edgy. So you watch more than one episode and you're like, this is terrible. And then laugh tracks. Laugh tracks have gotten, I feel like, longer than they used to. And people didn't used to pause as much as they do. Now it's like, I don't even know if you're in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
But don't fucking pause. Pause a tiny bit, but not like say one line. Like you have three punchlines in this sentence, and we're gonna have to wait a fucking minute for you to get through this whole sentence because you have to pause for every punchline that you guys think is gonna hit. Fantastic. Like that show, Last Man Standing, the Tim Allen show that's been on recently, is a lot of that. Like every single line that is said is a joke, which is what sitcoms are now. There's never room for things that aren't really jokes. So, like, almost 40% of it is just fucking laugh track. And I hate it.
Do large studio audiences get paid to be there?
For those, I think. Talk shows, they don't. You can go see talk shows for free. But they don't pay you either. It's just kind of you're there. Did you pay seat fillers? Homeless people get paid to be seat fillers, even at the Oscars. Like, if someone goes up to use the bathroom, they don't want to have empty seats in the panning shots. So they have homeless people who they dress up and put in those seats when they go to use the bathroom.
That's interesting.
And they even do it, they've done it with, I used to watch the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, and he was in one of his stand-ups talking about it. It was like, it was funny, he like went to the bathroom, there was just a homeless guy washing his feet, and he was a seat filler. So, because they had like 5 empty seats, and when they would point to the crowd, they didn't want to see that, so they would hire these people to sit there. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I wouldn't think that. That's.
I get why it's necessary.
I guess so.
Especially with the talk show.
Does
like,
having an empty seat really say a lot? I wouldn't, like, for me, when I'm watching something, maybe I'm just dense. If I saw a pan shot and there were seats...
That's what I was thinking.
I'd be like...
It wouldn't be a huge... Especially with the Oscars. I'd just be like, yeah, they probably couldn't get a seat for... I'd be like, maybe people didn't show up. I don't really give a shit in this one panning shot that I'm going to forget about.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I don't like award shows anyway, so... Because it's like, even people who are good at comedy go up there. It's just watching people who are good at comedy or people who don't do comedy just fucking bomb. With one-liners that they didn't write. I hate it. Oh, back to the thing we were talking about at the beginning. The reason I hate talk shows is people are fake as shit. And like, I saw the video that I saw that was my favorite example ever. Have you ever heard of Hunter S. Thompson?
No.
He was a journalist. You know the movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
Yes.
He wrote that book, and the character Johnny Depp is doing is not just a character from the book, that is Hunter S. Thompson. Hunter S. Thompson is exactly the character in that movie. I love watching interviews with him, he's such a weird fucking person. But the thing is, it's like, when you watch him, you can tell this is an accepted rule. If he ends up on a talk show, he's just kind of keep doing his own thing. So... And it's the thing that I hate with small talk, is talk shows, they keep saying the same thing that you hear in every conversation. Every talk show interview is pretty much the same. They ask about the movie, they ask about home life or some shit like that. But with Hunter S. Thompson, this isn't the person you do that with. And I watched one where he went on Conan. And like, Conan would do like his shtick where like, he kind of like jumps up and makes loud noises or something. And like, no joke, there's a shot where he just like kind of gives him, he's just like, okay, like he just gives it this disdainful look, and then just like, you can tell he doesn't fucking want to be there. And that's why I hate talk shows. If I was famous, I would fucking never go on them, or I would be like him. I would just be like, be a real person. The best talk shows do well. Like the Craig Ferguson's did well because he just acted like a normal person, at least in the interviews. And it was just like, Hunter S. Thompson is a person who, kind of like where I am, like, I notice these things, especially even in like normal conversations, it's something I notice is how fake people are. That's the reason I don't like small talk. It's just like, I get these are the accepted things to say, and if you don't have anything to say, that's what you'll say. If you don't have anything to say, don't say anything. I don't like it because it's very pointless talk, and I think part of the reason I don't like it is I never really have an answer.
Mm-hmm.
How's work? It's good.
Yeah.
It's fucking work. It's
I can understand
the same
that.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's just all these questions will be the exact same. But even if it's more like, I had this conversation with somebody recently, and every question I came up with, when I thought about it from that point, I was like, well, these are justified questions. So it comes down to more of maybe the way they ask it. Because even if someone's genuine, it never feels genuine when you're asking this question that I know is like a script to you. So, and I can't think of any times I've really had genuine circumstances, except with people who know my family.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you ask about someone's family and you know their family, that is justified. If you ask about someone's family and you don't know them, you are obviously just trying to fill a void. Like, fill space.
Yeah,
to
that's
talk.
fair.
And I hate that.
I don't know anything about your dad, so I probably wouldn't ask much about him.
But say that I'd be fine with it because you're familiar with me.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, you go up to someone, and like, I have things to say. Small talk is with someone that you go up to, you might be familiar with, but you don't have something to say, so you go with small talk. So, if you're not familiar with me enough that you have to small talk, then you can go to the family. But if you don't know my family enough to really have something to say about it, then just don't talk or find something that feels more genuine to you when you're asking it.
It's like Sam when he acts like he knows everyone at Food Lion, and he asks everyone about everything.
Yeah.
I get what you mean now.
And it gets me, because I'm just like, I don't want to take part in this, because it's too prevalent to me that you're faking it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can understand that. Like, at the end of the day, if you're going to be on a talk show, just be a fucking human. Talk to me like a normal person, and we can figure something out. We can bounce off each other with whatever we gotta say. And if the chemistry isn't there to make funny jokes and to have laughy times, we can't always.
And with these the fake things is when that chemistry does come up, even if it actually is there between you and the interviewee, it's not gonna feel real because you're just reciting things. Mm-hmm. Your reactions aren't feeling genuine. There's obviously potential for that chemistry, but you're fucking it up. If you had been more natural, this chemistry could have been there, and that conversation would have been going how it would. But at the same time, it can't be like small talk where if you don't have something to say, you don't say it because you have to have something to say.
Yeah.
Which is where I'm okay with you asking. If it's an actor, you ask about the movie because they go on talk shows to promote that movie. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what I would. It's that thing of, I'm not the person who's supposed to be good at it, so I don't know what the right way to do it would be. But I don't know. Kirk Ferguson did it well a lot. Something about when he talked felt way more familiar, and everything felt more comfortable. And I don't know that other countries do it better. I've definitely seen Asian talk shows that do not do that.
Oh no.
I saw like the Graham Norton show, which is British, and that one. When they talk, it feels a little more genuine, but their setup kind of takes it away. He's got a really wide open setup and stuff, and it's normally more. He normally has like 3 guests at a time.
Well, I think in Asia, it's not as prevalent for TV stuff to do that. It's more prevalent online because there are tons of like voice actors and stuff who are affiliated with like certain studios, and the studio will be like, here, we've got a little set for you guys. Come on for, like, this day, like, these few days in the week, and talk about the anime that we're airing right now.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, you did that, and it's like, now we'll never do that ever again. But it's like, for the people that are caring about it and watching it, they'll tune in and watch. And
I feel like they probably get to the point better.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes an interview, maybe it should be like small talk, that once you talk about the movie and you don't have anything else to say, then that should be where the interview ends. Because they're there to promote their movie. If that chemistry or familiarity can be there, then that would be a good interview. But if not, egging it on is only going to make it worse, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But do you watch any talk shows? I don't like any of them that are on that. I thought about watching the guy that plays Greg Ferguson, because I've heard that's okay, but at this point I don't care enough.
No, I don't really watch any talk shows. The only thing I watch is anime and bad anime.
I watch movies. I don't even really watch TV unless it's a TV show on Netflix.
Yeah, I don't really watch TV anymore, and the occasional movie for me. Otherwise, it's like...
Does anybody still have Netflix that you live with?
No.
Oh. I started watching Mystery Science Theater because I'd never watched it before, and I fucking love it.
Which...
You can watch it on YouTube. You should watch it. It's like people just riffing on old movies, pretty much. It's really good if you just want to have something in the background, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But it kind of makes it to where, as I said, I get bored with black and white movies. Not because necessarily the movie's boring, because my eyes are bored.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of adds more to it, to where I can sit there and watch a whole old movie. And I've watched most of them I've watched all the way through and know what that movie is about. Some of them I haven't because it was just on in the background, but other times it was just like, yeah, this movie's actually pretty interesting.
Fun fact, before the invention of color television, dreams were black and white.
It's true.
So
That's very true.
that's really weird, considering we can see the world in color, but our dreams aren't in color until a television screen can show it. It's strange.
I imagine
It makes you think.
if that's true, I imagine if it's true, that started with television. Because before that, you didn't really have much of a perception. You didn't really have anything that conveyed a perception of fake reality, except for books, and that you're visualizing in your head, and that was probably in color. But once that media form took off, and people were watching, a lot of their time was spent watching something that was black and white, and their creativity was devoted, their imagination was devoted to something that was in black and white, then their mind is going to be slightly hardwired to imagine where they see the most imagination in their life is in something that's black and white, so they convey it that way. And then what started becoming color, and maybe the quality was shitty at some point. Like, maybe they were just so used to seeing shitty quality stuff, like, that came off
Your
that way.
dreams are in shitty quality.
It's like, like you're talking to your buddy in your dream, and it's like,
Dreams
who the fuck are you? I can't see your face.
Dreams are so low res until we got them HD televisions.
But whether that is true or not, I imagine at least when color television was a big thing, people had at least some people had dreams in black and white because it's just what you see, and it's where imagination is when you are awake.
It makes me wonder if maybe in that time if dreams appeared two-dimensional for people, or if, because I don't often remember my dreams. And when I do, I don't remember them as if I'm seeing them through my own eyes.
Yeah, people ask that question whether you see a dream through your own eyes or you see yourself, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know one way or the other.
I can never really remember. Whenever I tell stories about my dreams, I typically tell them from a point of view where it's like, yeah, I saw this through my own eyes, but I can't speak.
I know. A lot of the dreams I remember seeing through my eyes, but at the same time, your memory changes. So, like, it could just be that's how you remembered it. Doesn't mean it's
my
true.
dreams are, like, fucked up and horrible, and we're not going to talk about them.
Mine, I don't remember.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the few dreams that I told you guys about. Those fucked me up, dude. Got me fucked up. We'll have a dream podcast one day where we compile a bunch of bullshit. That'll be the dream.
Oh, it wouldn't be good for me. I'm not gonna lie, because of smoking, I don't really have dreams.
That'd be the day I kill myself, because everyone would know my dark horrible secrets.
Like, I can't even. I don't know what the last dream I remember is. Not much happens in my dreams.
Well, anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. We've taken up enough of your time. I hope you enjoyed listening to us. I hope that if you did enjoy it, send us some love in our way.
I want to keep being able to do this, so at least some people need to listen.
This is really fun. It's nice to just chill. And
I'm not gonna lie. Since I started listening to the Rooster Teeth one, I've always wanted to do this.
And if you're in the area and around, you can contact me, and maybe we'll have you on.
Yeah.
We'd love to connect with our people. Split the...
Oh, you have to... Before the next time we do this, though, even if it's like the day before, you have to watch a movie. That way I have something to talk about.
Next time we'll watch a movie. Maybe we'll all get together whenever we do it.
At some point, I'm probably going to start showing you my movies, because I know there are a lot that you haven't seen.
Join us back next time. We should have more guests next time. Today it was only the host and my co-host, as we'll call him.
I had earned co-host for being the first one here.
Maybe next time we'll have more supporting cast. So, until next time, this has been the usual cast, ending in the usual place at the usual time.
In the usual weather.
Yeah, shitty and raining.
Yeah, shitty, I like it.
Bye now.
Bye now.